Hello students, welcome to our next lesson on the principles of art. Today we are going to learn about rhythm and how rhythm can emphasize our artwork. Let's begin. For today's supplies you will need 2 sheets of printer paper, colored pencils, a drawing pencil, black marker, a ruler, glue stick, scissors, and a colored sheet of cardstock paper. Rhythm shows movement in our artwork. By combining and repeating multiple elements of art, like lines, shapes, and colors, we can make our art look as though our images are moving. There are 5 ways we can combine elements to show rhythm and movement: alternating, progressive, flowing, regular, and random. Alternating elements. When we switch back and forth from 2 or more different elements in a repeating pattern, it is called alternating. Here we have lines, shapes, and colors repeating in a pattern that tricks your eye to move up, down, left, and right. Progressive elements. Progressive is when we repeat an element and slowly change it while maintaining a rhythm. Here I am drawing circles of the same color, but changing its size from small to large, as well as changing its value from dark to light. This makes the ball look as though it's bouncing and moving. Flowing elements. Flowing is when we use curving and organic elements that change direction, twist, and bend in a natural pattern. Here I use swirling spiral lines and teardrop organic shapes with a pattern of light colors to show soft, flowing movement. Regular elements. Similar and identical elements repeating at steady intervals is called regular. Think of a steady beat in music to help you count evenly. Here we have a set of squares. They are all the same shape and evenly spaced, but they each slightly change in size. Lastly, we have random. Random is when we repeat similar elements with no pattern. Here we have circles and arrows of different sizes placed randomly throughout. It gives you a sense of floating movement and rhythm. Again, here are the 5 different types of rhythm. Pause here until you're all caught up, and then press play when you are ready for the art project. Time for our rhythm art project. For today's masterpiece, we will be creating moving lines. Get your supplies ready and let's begin. We are going to begin by taking our ruler and black marker and create diagonal lines going in the same direction throughout the entire sheet of paper. They do not have to be evenly spaced. Make thin and thick sections throughout the piece, just as I am doing here. Next, take your colored pencils and begin coloring in each section. I colored my sections in a rainbow pattern. You may color yours however you like. After I colored each section, I went over some of the colors again to make them more solid and opaque. This is what it should look like so far. Remember the look of these straight diagonal lines. Pause the video until you have completed this step. Press play when you are ready to continue. Now we are going to turn our work over. Take a drawing pencil and draw even, vertical lines all the way across as I am doing here. Draw as many as you can, as we will be cutting these drawn lines to make strips of paper. I ended up creating 19 sections with my vertical lines. Number in between the lines. I numbered at the top and the bottom to make sure my strips of paper will all face in the same direction. This is what you should have so far. Pause the video here, then press play when you are ready to continue. Once you are done numbering each section, cut each vertical line to make your strips of paper. Make sure they are all facing the same direction. I also divided my pile of papers in half. I had 19 strips of paper, so my first pile was of pieces numbers 1 through 9, and my second pile were of pieces 10 through 19. Ask for assistance from one of your teachers if you need help in any part of this project. Watch me glue the first 5 strips of paper so that you understand what I am doing here before you begin attaching the strips of paper onto your cardstock. Once you understand what I am doing here, join me in this step. Take your colored sheet of cardstock paper and place it on your table vertically. Take the first half of your strips of paper, here I am taking strips numbers 1 through 9, and you are going to glue each strip of paper at different fanned out angles, connecting them together at the top left corner of your cardstock as I am doing here. You may notice I have a drawn curved line marking on my cardstock. I drew this to remind myself to make these strips of paper curve and fan out. It's okay if the strips of paper go off of the page. Take your time. Glue everything down as best as you can. Notice how I am trying to line some of the sections together as I am rotating the paper. Notice how doing these to each strip of paper changes the directions of the original diagonal lines, making them look as though they are bending and curving. This is what the first pile of strips of paper looks like glued down and joined together at one end. Pause the video here until you are all caught up with this step. Remember to ask for help if you need any assistance. Now it is time to glue the second set of papers. This time we are going to attach them at the opposite end, making the papers fan out and curve from the left instead of the right. Make sure the colors are still facing the same direction and the strips of paper are rotated properly. Once again, watch me glue the first few strips of paper before beginning to glue the strips of paper on your artwork. Once you understand what I am doing here, then join me. Notice how I'm fanning them out, creating that bending, curving effect with the colors. When you are done, rotate your work. You could leave everything as is, but what I ended up doing was turning my work over and trimming off all the excess paper that was off of the cardstock. Follow along with me if you would like to do this step as well. When you are finished, turn your work over and double check the edges of each strip, making sure they are glued down properly. And that's it. When you are finished, find a place to sign your name and date it on the back. Isn't it amazing how we were able to change the rhythm and movement of the diagonal lines by cutting them and turning the strips of paper? We were able to trick the eye and bend the diagonal sections to create a curved and twisted image of lines. I hope you had fun with this lesson. Until next time, take care and stay creative.